Hey,
How's it going?
welcome everybody, and welcome to our weekly show. It's called Tournament Horse Racing. It's brought to you by Broke Guys Handicapping. I'll be your host for tonight's show. My name is Rich Sharp. Here's what we've done. We've taken the horse racing calendar and we've broken it up into 4 separate horse racing tournaments throughout the year. Each one of those horse racing tournaments consists of 10 individual racing days, and that's actually what you're watching tonight is one of those individual racing days. Each of our horse players will then take a shot in each of the 4 races that we pick from that track and make a mythical $2 win place bet in each of those 4 races. Whoever wins the most money at the end of the tournament is the winner of that tournament. We keep track throughout those 10 racing days, throughout the little individual tournament that we set up, and whoever wins the most money at the end of the tournament is the champion of that particular tournament. We actually keep track throughout the year, so we will have one year-end champion, and we're actually coming up on that time at this point in time. So without further ado, I will turn it over and bring in my racing analysts. They're actually also my friends in no particular order. We're going to start just a little bit to the south of me in Temecula, California. Joe English, how have you been doing, my friend?
I'm well, Rich. Trying to stay dry now. Now that the heat waves broke, but doing all right. How about you guys?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Down and a little bit to, excuse me, up to my north in Menifee, California, is our second horse player for tonight. He is also a friend of mine, Steve Newsome. How's life going, my friend?
Oh, not too bad, Rich. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. Pretty good, you know. Down to the weekend.
Yeah.
Last, we'll swing all the way across the country out to Staten Island, New York. The last of our horse players, also a good friend of mine, Ray Torado. How's life treating you, my friend?
Good, good. I'm doing good. The fall's creeping in over here in New York City, so doing okay. Got a little chill, but we're doing fine here. Sun's still out.
All right. So you've
Hmm.
met the 4 horse players. We'll go ahead and take a look at what happened last week before we dive into this week's races. I will tell you, we were actually right at that junction point. So last week was the last tournament of what we called our Summer Stakes tournament. We are going to be jumping off on what is called the Road to the Breeders' Cup, but we will take a look. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with you guys. And yeah, last week we split our choices between, let me get my little box out of the way so everybody can see correctly. We split our choices between Saratoga and Del Mar. It was Labor Day. It was the last race of the Summer Stakes tournament. And congratulations to Steve Newsome, as you see. Actually puts a pretty good number there for 4 races, $38.
Right.
Uh, leaves
I
me
tried to catch it.
yeah, exactly. Steve made a nice little run there. That did finish off summer quarter number 3 for us. Again, we call that one the Summer Stakes. And as you see, Steve made a nice little run to get pretty close to Ray there, and adds another victory to his total for the tournament. He ends up with 2, as did Joe. Ray and I both had 3. And the determination, of course, is always who wins the most money. So that would be me at $197.64. I will tell you a little bit of a repeat of last year because I did win the Summer Stakes tournament in last year's tournament as well. So for me, the victory is not just unlimited hours at the Tilted Kilt here in Temecula, California, but I also get a little trophy, and he's been sitting right behind you guys this entire time. So if you guys were watching this show throughout it, those are the trophies that are up on the shelf behind me. They're in those little white boxes, and I believe this one is coming home with me. And I know that Ray and Joe and Steve are going to be really, really jealous because that's Johnny V. John Velasquez
Oh,
is going to be joining the Hall of Fame back there that includes Irad Ortiz and Tyler Gaffleone among jockeys, and Bob Baffert and Todd Pletcher and Chad Brown as far as the trainers are concerned. I'm really happy that Johnny V gets to come home with me. There is one trophy left on this one, and as you all know, if you win this tournament at the end of the year, we'll make you into a horse owner. All right, that's enough about what happened in the Summer Stakes tournament, and congratulations to me. And we are going to go ahead and we are moving along to the very first race of what is called the Road to the Breeders' Cup. We kind of showed you a little bit of a preview last week. This is what you'll be watching if you see the 10 racing days of tournament horse racing this year. So we're going to start off at Kentucky Downs. It is one of our favorite tracks to cover on this particular show. Woodbine is another one, and so is Parks. We'll come back home to Santa Anita for me and Joe. Keeneland Racetrack will be on October the 8th, and as you see there with all the fancy print and everything else, we'll be doing Pick Four Wars on October the 8th. We take a little bit of a break in the middle of this and then come back on October the 22nd. Laurel, he'll have the Maryland Millions. We will split between Aqueduct and Santa Anita, and then we will finish up by doing both days of the Breeders' Cup, we actually break it up into 3 separate tournaments. That's what's going to be the road to the Breeders' Cup. And we are going to start today down in Franklin, Kentucky. That is not the sequence. It is actually 9, 10, 11, and 12 that we will be covering today. As I mentioned, oops, let me go ahead and bring up my my racing form for you so you guys can all see what we're looking at today. Oops. Yeah, excuse me. Sometimes my PC does not like popping open our racing forms in the correct format. Tries to bring up in Google. So hold on 1 second.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What a browser.
Yeah, it wants to put them in my browser.
Yeah.
I still prefer to look them in the old-fashioned
Oh,
PDF
definitely.
format.
Yeah. PDF. Yeah.
Before we get started, congratulations, Rich. Just nice job that quarter.
Yeah.
It was,
Congrats, Rich.
it was
Yeah,
runaway
congrats,
winner,
Thanks,
Rich.
guys.
never in
Thank you.
doubt. You were the flight line that quarter.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
Yeah, definitely.
I really can't think of a better compliment than that. All right, here we go. We're going to start off in race number 9. These are all big money events, just in case you're wondering. They're going 6 furlongs on the turf because that's all they have there at Franklin is turf. This is the FanDuel Turf Sprint Stakes. Grade 2 purse is $1 million. That includes, as you see there, just a mere $450,000 from the Kentucky Thoroughbred Development Fund. It is for 3-year-olds and upward, and your morning line favorite is in post number 12. His name is Arrest Me Red. He is trained by Wesley Ward, and he is ridden by Irad Ortiz, 9-5 on the Kentucky Downs morning line. And I will tell you, we're going to go with our traditional lineup here, what sometimes I call the Sound of Music lineup. We're going to go Joe, Ray, Steve. So, Joe, you're up first. What do you like in sprint?
Okay, awesome. New tournament, new quarter. What am I going to do? You think I'm going to start with a favorite? Get out of town. No
Hell
chance.
no.
Yeah, I'm not going to start with a favorite. And as I was telling Steve before we started, this is a strange track. Sometimes weird things happen. It's a track unlike any other that we cover. Like Rich was saying, all turf it's like it's got a downhill, a severe downhill, and then a severe uphill and through the
Uphill.
stretch. And the stretch is about, I don't know, 5/16 to 3/8 of a mile long. It's a weird configuration for us, and for all the horses too. So you have to be patient sometimes. And these fields are all huge. As you can see, the favorites in post 12, and basically every race, I would expect to have 11 or 12 in the box tomorrow. So I'm trying to, at least in this case, I'm trying to avoid horses who have to come from way out of it as much as possible. Because, I mean, you're going to have to work out trips. You're going to have to loop 10, 11 horses if you're at the back of the pack. So I went with the horse down towards the inside, the 4, Charcoal at 20-1. Rafael Bejarano is aboard for a trainer I don't know that much about, Tracy Wisner, who has obviously a very low win percentage, 5% on the year. But I got a chance. It's funny because I was actually watching the race that he ran not long, about an hour ago. But I was looking at a different horse. I was looking at Totally Boss, who was in post 10. And I saw this horse, and this horse was in behind horses. It says waited a quart to, for a quart, from the quarter mile pole to a mile and a 16th. And he did. He was full run. Unfortunately, the horse that won the race looped around the outside and got up late. But this horse had so much run that if he had gotten first run, I'm not sure the other horse would have run him down. So I'm taking, like I said, I'm trying to take the speed horse. He's improved in each start in this, this year, at least on the Beyer speed figure scale. I think the last start was in the low to mid 90s. So I'm hopeful that he can continue to improve. Yes, as a 6-year-old gelding, that generally doesn't happen. But I'm going to take a shot with a 20-1 shot here with Charcoal. And yes, he is gray. And my guess is that had something to do with the name. So Charcoal 20-1 for me. And I think this is a win in your in race for the Breeders' Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're correct.
Ray, who do you like in the first of the sequence?
I settled on the This is a big field, and like you say, this course, a lot of things can happen, and It's a wilder track. I went to for Arzak, number 5. He's one of the youngsters in this group. I see a lot of 6, 7, 8, 9 year olds, and they seem to be tailing off. So this horse seems to be improving. He's had a good season. He's 2 out of 4 this year. And he likes to sprint. So you know, Kamura rides him, and knows him pretty well. And this is one of the horses who probably will be closer to lead. So he might get a good trip. And he likes the synthetic and also the turf. So he ran a good race last time, dismissed in the Troy, and I think he'll improve off that race. So I like Isaac. He's 9-2, so he'll be played. I always look at Totally Boss, but Totally Boss, he's has gotten I don't know, these last few years he has tailed off. So, but he does like this course. So, but Isaac for me, Steve.
Yeah, so I saw your twit there, Joe, about the the scratches. So my
Yeah.
first pick got scratched in this race, so I had to go to my second pick, which is a little off the reservation. Uh, Bob's Edge, the 6. Horse has only ran a couple of times on turf, but has one win on turf at Churchill Downs. I think it was Churchill Downs. No, Keeneland. Sorry, his other turf races at Churchill Downs. Um, but I don't know. I like the 30-1 odds here. He had a nice 5 furlong workout. So owner trainers 20% graded stakes. So I take 30-1 and see if I can jump out to an early lead.
Unfortunately, I'm on the same horse as Ray. I'm on Arzak. I've still got that affinity for Woodbine horses, which is actually where this one comes from. That's Michael Trombetta. And Kazushi Kimura. That's his guy up there. That's one of the top jockeys that's up there. And the horse did come away from Woodbine and really ran a really good race there in that Troy race where he finished just three quarters of the lanes off the lead. That's a solid race up there, going 5.5 furlongs. Again, tricky race course as Joe brought up before. And I ended up on exactly the same horse as Ray. So I've got the 5. Right here. Okay. And we are going to go ahead and move along to race number 10, which is actually the feature on today's card, or one of the co-features, I guess you would say. This is race number 10. They're going 1.5 miles on the turf. This is the Kentucky Turf Cup. Grade 2 versus $1 million. And your morning line favorite is in post number 8. That is Gouffo, trained by Christophe Clement and ridden by Joel Rosario. 7-5 on the Kentucky Downs morning line. And Mr. Torado, you're going to get first shot at the Kentucky Turf Cup.
All right. Yeah, Gufo looks tough here, but it comes from way back and never raced here, so who knows what's gonna happen. I wanted to pass on him. Arklo's a good horse for this course anyway. But I went to the outside number 10, another mystery. Irad Ortiz is here, and he had a good race last time. He's also had a good season. He's 2 for 6, 4 in the exacta, and he likes going long too. At the distance, he's 4 out of 8 in the exacta. So I think he's gonna probably stay close to the lead, hopefully. And Irad, coming off his super Saratoga meet, should have this horse in good position. And if he's good enough, he has a chance. So it's a big field, that could happen. So I'm hoping that Irad could just keep him out of trouble. He's coming off a slight layoff there, so stepping up in class a little bit, but he has to improve. But I got confidence that Irad could um, get him home. So another mystery for me is 15-1. Steve?
Yeah, I went a little further outside than you. I went to the 12 highest honors. Tyler Gaffleone, Chad Brown. Horse had put up a nice speed figure last race out. Hopefully, continue the work it's done on turf its last 4 races, and hopefully get a little bit better finish here. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the 12 highest honors.
I am up a little bit further than the two of you. I'm actually on one of the closer to inside. I'm on the 3 Temple. Now, this horse is trained by Michael Maker and ridden by Jose Ortiz. Uh, Going into the beginning of this year, as you see there, down at Gulfstream Park, those are the longer races that you see at Gulfstream Park. So those are the William McKnight and the Mac Diarmida, and then you see the Pan American. So this horse actually competed in kind of like what you would consider the Triple Crown of long distance races down there at Gulfstream Park, and then came out of it and went over to Monmouth. And yeah, that's another one. United Nations Grade 1. That's about a mile and a half as well. Adamo is a Chad Brown horse, and the horse finished third behind that one. As you see, had a little bit of trouble in that race, bobbled at the break, got bumped as well. And again, you're getting Michael Maker. You're getting one of the best jockeys in the country at Jose Ortiz. I know they don't look like they've got a very good connection together, just at 9%. I'm sure that must be something kind of a little bit fluky as far as this one's concerned. So I ended up on the 3. I've got Temple. How about you, Joe? What do you got?
Right outside you, Rich. Ray mentioned Arklow earlier. I talked Lauren Giroux, obviously combination. We've talked about ad nauseum on this show. Terrific local record, 2 for 4, 2 seconds. He can be close to the pace. He's been closer to the pace the last couple starts. Again, if the pace is not fast, and I don't really see a lot of speed other than maybe the 2 inside and maybe Steve's 12 on the outside, this horse could be up close. And again, not have to worry about dealing with a traffic issue coming home. And part of that good local record is that he won this race in 2020, and the ground had a little give in it. It was a soft turf course that day, so obviously he's not. If it does rain at all, we know there was a small chance of rain, a better chance of rain earlier in the week, a little bit smaller chance now. But if there is some give in the ground and there is some rain, it will not bother Arklow. So I'll take the class horse who's won here before. Give me 7-2 on Arklow. A lot longer ago than that, Chief. You were at the wedding, you know.
Yeah, me and Ray know. We were there. At the very least, you can tell your wife that she got a shout out during the show tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure she's gonna post it on Facebook.
She will. All right, we're going to go ahead and move along to race number 11. They are going 6.5 furlongs on the turf, as always. This is the Mint Lady Sprint Stakes, Grade 3, purses $600,000, and your morning line favorite is in post number 10. I was trying to work on how to say this. I believe it's Campanelli, and trained by Wesley Ward and ridden by Irad Ortiz. 8-5 on the Kentucky Downs morning line. And Steve, you're going to be first up in the Mint Lady Stakes.
All right. Well, I'm going a little further outside than that again. I'm going with the 12 LZ. A little bit off the reservation, maybe, but horse won its first 3 races this year, and then it looks like moved up in class and done quite as well, but had a couple of nice workouts, last 2 workouts, and I don't know. I think the horses get back on track here, and maybe get me a win at 12-1. Rich.
I also stayed away from the favorite, although I love this horse's pedigree coming over from Europe here on a turf course. Franklin plays a lot like a lot of the European races. I just wasn't too crazy about the 8-5. I went one post inside the favorite. I went with Star Divine, and this horse is trained by George Abreu, and it's going to be ridden by Jose Ortiz. kind of a familiar theme for me so far here. In the last four races, horse won a stakes race there at Saratoga. That was all the way a year ago, back in August of 21, and then comes back after a layoff there and finishes second to Campanelli, who is the favorite that's in this race. I'm not crazy about the no match there in the running line from the race caller and things like that. However, having been off for at that point in time about 8 or 9 months, the horse comes right back in the Intercontinental, runs second behind Caravel, beats Jouster, who is also in this race, and then just a fifth there in the Caress, which is a grade 3 there at Saratoga. I thought that Star Divine at 10-1, especially on the morning line, was worth a shot, giving a rematch, a little bit of a rematch here with Campanelli. And I will hand it off to Joe. What do you like here in the Mint Lady Stakes?
Yeah, it's funny. I'm going kind of against what I said earlier in the earlier sprint race. I'm actually on a horse who's coming from behind, and that's the 6, Toby's Heart, who's probably going to be last in this field after the first 2 furlongs. But I'll take those kind of horses if I can get 15-1 shots. This horse won an ungraded stake at this meet last year. And the funny part is that it was an ungraded stake that was worth $487,000, which is kind of amusing to me.
Yeah, ungraded.
She's won on a good turf course over at Keeneland, so that's really not, again, if there is rain, it's not an issue. Obviously, she's been able to run well enough on fast. Last race was a good setup for this, and Brian Lynch, who's the trainer here, has been setting up his horses for Kentucky Downs. Over the last 5 years, he's 6 for 22 with a positive ROI. And not only that, 5 of the horses that he's won with have been winners in sprints. So I'll take 15-1 on the closer, Toby's Heart. I know not to look for her early in the race, or if at least if I'm watching the race, I know where to look for her because she'll be at the back. Hopefully that long stretch will help her and she can loop the field and get up at 15-1 or somewhere close to that. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's 15 or maybe even higher. Give me the 6, Toby's Heart, right?
I went with the 3, Jouster, Rosario, Pletcher. This horse has some speed, or this just shows some speed. We're going long, but cutting back a little bit. This horse probably would be maybe mid pack, and and just had a good race. 2 back, 3 back at Belmont, and she won. And like you said, she was third to Calvel Star Divine, second. Yeah, she was close to those horses. So I'm thinking that maybe with the jockey change, Rosario give her a little boost, and it could finish stronger. And I like the workouts from Saratoga, so been working out. But after that last race, she went a mile, a little too far for her, but she was second by half, top of the stretch. So I'm thinking 6.5 might be a good distance for her. So I trust Todd and where he places horses, and it's a lot of money. So they always send the horses there for these big purses. So it'll be Jouster for me with Rosario and Pletcher.
All right, and here we go on to the finale for tonight's contest. And this is going to be race number 12, excuse me. And this is the Franklin Simpson Stakes. It's a grade 2. Purse is $600,000, and yes, they are going 6.5 furlongs on the turf course. Your morning line favorite is there in post number 6, Big Invasion, trained by Christophe Clement and ridden by Joel Rosario, and actually maybe a generous 8-5 on the Kentucky Downs morning line. And yeah, I'm up first in the finale here, and this horse is gonna be really tough to beat. I'm gonna try and beat him anyway. But let's face it, Big Invasion has won 6 out of 7 lifetime. Yeah, he finished second in his opening race of his life. I don't think he's ever been anything other than the favorite, and of course, he will be the favorite again tomorrow. Steve, you've mentioned this one before, that I am a big fan of turf horses. that have the name War in there. Unfortunately, in this particular race, you're going to find 3 or 4 of them that are sired by Warfront or Summerfront or Declaration of War. And I actually found myself going to the other one. I argued with myself on this one, just so you know, and things like that. I had Warfront, the Sumter horse here, sort of named after Fort Sumter, which was the opening battle of the Civil War. And then you guys have heard me. I am just not big on the California horses going east on the turf, although this horse did look like he had a good shot. And I ended up one horse outside of him, and I was Stitched, which is trained by Greg Foley. Do not know a whole lot about him. I do know quite a bit about Florent Giroux and especially his riding skills on the turf. This horse has won 3 in a row. One of those was a $127,000 allowance race that was down there at Churchill Downs, and then also won at Indiana Downs and Canterbury. So I am taking a bit of a shot here. This is not my normal one, but the horse is 5 for 8 lifetime. Not exactly big invasion numbers, but 5 for 6 on the turf is just about big invasion numbers. So I went ahead and went with Stitched. Joe, what do you think in the Franklin Simpson Stakes?
Well, I find it kind of amusing that we've had a 9-5, 7-5, and an 8-5 favorite, and none of us have picked any of those. And it's funny because I was looking at this card and I looked at Big Invasion, and I use the formulated PPs, not what you're seeing on the screen. Formulated PPs have the buyer speed figures. And looking at Big Invasion's figures from the last 2 races he ran at Saratoga, if he runs either of those or anything close to either of those, he probably wins this race. So I'm not going to be inventive here. If I was going to play a pick 4, this would be the horse I'm singling to. I just think, like I said, either of his last 2 races at Saratoga is good enough to win this. As Rich was showing you, there are a lot of horses who have won races recently, but on, like I said, on the buyer speed figure scale, he just towers over this field with either of those 2. Now, if he doesn't run either of those 2 and comes back to earth a little bit, sure, that brings everybody else on board, and 8-5 wouldn't be worth the price. I'm taking 8-5 because I'm thinking he's going to run one of those 2 races. I'm hoping Rosario and Christophe Clement aren't just there to sample the fine food of Franklin, Kentucky. So give me Big Invasion, 8-5 on the morning line, right?
I'm hoping he gets lost on the right-hand turn or something.
You know, it's been known to happen. It's not like favorites win all the time there.
Oh yeah. I went with number 7, Run Curtis Run, Santana, Michael Maker. Michael Maker seems to win a lot of horses here, so he already got 24 starts at the meet. So, I guess he really primes his horses to here. So this horse he probably has to improve a little bit to beat a Big Invasion. Big Invasion is gonna be big chalk and a solid choice. I mean, definitely, like you said, Joe, he'd be my single in the pick 4. But there's always money for second. So, um, I think his horses he could sprint and he just looks like he just had one like maybe one bad race, a really bad race, was the British Cup Tough Sprint where things didn't go too well. But he's been in the money, second, third, the last 4 or 5 races. So basically, ever since he's been on the turf, he's been running okay. If anything happens to Big Invasion, he gets blocked, whatever, or doesn't win his race, his horse could be there. So I'll go with One Curtis Run at 6-1, and let's see what happens. Enjoy the grass, boys, tomorrow.
Yeah, and
The
I'm
hills and the turns. It's like an obstacle course over there. It's really pretty to watch, I tell you.
yeah, and I'm going with the favorite.
Steve?
Just like Joe said, Big Invasion is. He said compared the field, and I only wrote down one horse on this one, so that's the one I'm going with. Big Invasion.
All right. Tell me what that looks like if everybody's picks are correct.
Hmm
Absolutely.
Yep.
10, 3, 7. Yep.
All right, time for me to come back to you guys. Come on back. All right. Well, for those who are watching, that's exactly how we do it. That's how we make the sausage here on Tournament Horse Racing. Each of the players getting those the mythical win, $2 win bet in each of those races. You guys got anything you want to add before tomorrow? I know we're expecting a little bit of rain at Kentucky Downs. So hopefully we get these races go off as planned.
Yeah. I mean, other than, I know Delmar canceled turf racing today. I don't know what the plan was tomorrow or for Sunday, but
That's right. We've got
quite a bit down in San Diego today. So
rain here in Southern California as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used my meteorological expertise and determined it's not going to rain too much out there.
I'm gonna trust. Yeah, I'm gonna trust that probably more than I trust
Okay.
the racing pick.
So Steve, now that we have more than 40 minutes, we're gonna start every show with a weather report.
There you go.
We're volunteering you since you're the you claim to be the expert. It's on you now.
I'll do it. Yeah, if you guys want to. Sure.
And for NYRA, this is one of a few weekends. There's no racing, so I'll be elsewhere. I'll be in Kentucky, Del Mar, Monmouth, looking around for some action. So
cool.
Thank you for the
NFL
and NFL
Sunday.
for Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday.
September 11th.
I got a little taste on Thursday. That was fun.
There you go. There you go. Well, all right, everybody. That's exactly how we do it here on Tournament Horse Racing. Again, it's presented by Broke Guys Handicapping. For Ray Torado, Steve Newsome, and Joe English, my name is Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching our show. We will see you all next week. Good luck and good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.